Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here at the Illinois Firearms Association with the ILFA 2024 General Election Recap video. Guys, everyone knows this. What happened on election night will never be forgotten in this country. The message that gun owners and everybody who cares about freedom sent on Tuesday night was very simple. This is not some third world crap hole. This is not some Eurotrash nation. This is the United States of America. We have a God-given right to keep and bear arms, and we will never surrender our freedoms and our lives to tyrants. In the 4 years that we have spent under Joe Biden have been nothing but his attempt to impose his tyrannical agenda upon all of us. It's bad enough having J.B. Pritzker as the governor, but the problems that we had with Biden were, of course, nationwide. And so the stakes on election night Tuesday were very, very high as they come. And we're going to go over some of the numbers on what happened Tuesday night, both at the federal level, but also right here in Illinois, and give you guys a snapshot on what's going to happen next session. But a big victory was had on the part of gun owners all across the country. First is the presidential race. As of right now, Friday afternoon, Donald Trump has 295 electoral college votes. 295, huge victory. If that's all he had, it's a major victory. But pretty good chance he's going to carry both Nevada and Arizona. They're still counting in those two states. And if he carries both of those, it's 312 electoral college votes, an absolute obliteration of Kamala Harris and her cackling self. You know, a lot of times the Democrats will cry because their nominee might win the popular vote, and our nominee often wins electoral college vote. And they always say, see, we have to dispose of the electoral college. That wasn't the case here, because as of right now, Trump also won the popular vote by over 4 million freaking votes. And so this race wasn't even close. Most of us all knew in our gut it was never going to be close. But of course, the left fanned the flames for a long time that Kamala was the second coming or something, and that she was going to somehow score a victory. You know, here in Illinois, obviously Kamala Harris won Illinois. And for some folks, you might be very disheartened about that. But I want to be very clear on this. There is much reason for optimism, because Trump got 45% of the vote here in Illinois on Tuesday night. The last time a GOP nominee has had numbers like that was 1988. And that was George H.W. Bush. 1988 was the last time a GOP nominee for president got numbers like this. So we are approaching 36 years, approaching 40 years. 40 years since the Republican Party has had a nominee with numbers like this. This is undeniable evidence that people in Illinois are by no means walking away from the fight for freedom. In fact, we're moving to the right. These numbers are undeniable. And it's also a big testimony to President Trump. It's also a big testimony to the ability for organizations like the Illinois Firearms Association to mobilize, educate and mobilize gun owners and turn them out at election time. You know, for a long time, what we hear in Springfield is that gun owners are upset, but they don't come out to vote. Now, maybe there's truth in that. Maybe there's not. It depends on the candidate. If a Republican candidate screws us over in Springfield, they can't expect our support in November. But for the most part, it's a very big concern. And what we are seeing now is gun owners getting organized through ILFA and turning out en masse. 45% of the vote for President Trump. Be excited about that, folks, because you've earned it. Now, in the United States Senate on Tuesday morning, we had 49 Republican Party votes, 49. The question, honestly, was not if we're going to get the majority back. That was always pretty much almost a guarantee. It was almost a guarantee that West Virginia and Montana would both become Republican seats in the Senate. And that happened early on Tuesday night. So that brought us to 51. But then we've seen both Ohio and Pennsylvania boot out Democrat Senate incumbent Sherrod Brown and Bob Casey. That brings the number up to 53. And again, we're still waiting, still Friday afternoon, waiting on both Nevada and Arizona to decide their races. Nevada looks, I would say, probable right now that might be a big pickup for the GOP. If that happens, that's 54. And folks, there's a lot of folks that believe that actually Carrie Lake in Arizona is actually competitive right now, largely because she's riding on President Trump's coattails. The polling was not good for Kari Lake. It never really was. But then again, we all saw how polling sucks so bad again in this most recent election cycle. So if Nevada goes our way and Kari Lake goes our way, that's a big and. It's a big if on Arizona. If that happens, though, that's 55 votes. It's an enormous majority compared to what we had on Tuesday morning. Honestly, the magic number for gun owners right now in the Senate is 53. 53. Because actually it'd be 52. Because the problem that we have right there right now is Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. These two senators from Maine and Alaska are rhino Republicans who hate the Second Amendment, who have always voted against our gun rights, and were obstructionists towards President Trump's agenda his first term in the White House. If we had a 51-seat Republican-controlled chamber, these two rhinos could join with the Democrats, and they have before, and they would again, and they could block Trump's agenda. That's not the case anymore right now. Even if we don't add a single additional seat, we have 53 votes right now. Those two rhino, angry, bitter old hags can sit in the back corner of that chamber and humph, because they can't do a damn thing to stop President Trump anymore and his agenda in the United States Senate. So right now, 53, we might get 54, and it's possible we get all the way to 55. Now in the House right now, that's still too close to call for sure. But it seems pretty obvious from what the media is saying, from the Democrats are admitting that the GOP is going to retain control of that chamber. Our best guess right now is we have it with 218 to 220, somewhere in that window. Now, 218 is a magic number, right? 218 gets you majority control of the chamber. The problem is we need at least 10 additional votes, preferably 15, to be able to advance pro-gun and conservative agenda items, because we've got a bunch of rhino Republicans in that mix right now who would very likely be willing to join the Democrats to stymie pro-gun bills. So the magic number would be far higher than 218, but 218 gives us control of the chamber. And honestly, as much as we want to have a much bigger majority, the real number we need to have is simply 218, because if we don't have 218, if Hakeem Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House, the Democrat Speaker of the House, they're going to spend 2 years doing what Pelosi did a couple of years ago. They're going to launch another bogus, impeachment hearing against President Trump for what? I don't know. Maybe they just don't like the color of his tie. And they're going to make up whatever they want to make up. And we're going to spend 2 more years in a bogus impeachment hearing that's designed to drain Trump's energy and his focus away from other things. So if all we had was 218 in the House, it would still be a big win insofar as it denies the Democrats a chance for another stupid impeachment inquiry. So that's the federal overview. And we touched on briefly what happened here in Illinois with the vote for the presidential race, 45%. Turn our attention more to some local races. The short takeaway here is that not much changed numerically for Pritzker's allies here in Springfield. They had a major majority before Tuesday. They retained that big majority. One of the nice things, though, or the interesting things, though, is how many races that Pritzker's machine lost coming after pro-gun Republicans. And here's where we spent most of our resources, most of our time, was educating gun owners in races where we had a pro-gun incumbent. One of those was Marty McLaughlin, he won. Marty McLaughlin, District 52. This is Barrington-Sutton area outside of the Chicago metro area. Marty McLaughlin has always been a pro-gun vote. And that's why Pritzker hates him, because he wants everyone to be a raging commie like he is. They came after him with everything they've got. I think, to be very honest, right now, I'm not even sure if it's officially called. But as of Friday afternoon, right now, Marty McLaughlin is up 50.8% to 49.2% over Maria Peterson. So it is a very close race, but it looks like Marty has it in the bag, 50.8%, 49.2%. This is one of those races where gun owners made the difference, because we focused heavily in reminding voters in this area how pro-gun Marty has been. And we reminded them that that Maria Peterson supports the entire Pritzker agenda, which leads to more violent crime and more inability on our part to defend ourselves, and an explosion in basic crime. It's going to explode all around us as it has for the last couple of years, and it's going to spread into the suburbs, not just in our big cities. That is the impact of Pritzker's policies. That is the impact that Maria Peterson's policies would have if she won this race. We told everyone, digital ads, texting ads, email, social media, everything, alerted hundreds, around 100,000 voters, I want to say, in this district, and the results speak for themselves. Marty won 50.8% of the vote. That is the difference that gun owners can have here in Illinois. The same thing in House District 47. Got some notes here. This is Representative Amy Grant. This is like Carroll Stream, Wheaton area, similar to McLaughlin's area. And same thing. I mean, Amy Grant's always been a pro-gun vote. And for that reason, Pritzker hates her. He wants more people to vote for gun control because as much damage as they've done to us, there's so much more they want to do. We're going to hammer on that here in a few minutes. And so they need everybody they can to support this agenda. And so every pro-gun vote that gun owners can bring to bear makes it harder for them to pass even more gun control. They came after Amy hard. Jackie Williamson was the Democrat candidate in this race. And same thing, we spent a lot of money in this race on digital ads, texting, text messages, social media updates, focused email programs, everything. And as of right now, Grant won this race. I believe this one's been called with 50.5% of the vote. So again, razor thin majorities in this area. And that's what I mean when I say gun owners are the difference in these races. There's other ones, HD 48, HD 82. I think right now we still have four additional races that are still being counted as of right now. So there's a lot going on. It does not change the situation on the ground in Springfield as far as the number. But what's different now is that gun owners are fighting back, not just in federal court, but also at the ballot box. I think for what's happened here for a while is we've seen a lot of gun people get disgusted, disenfranchised, depressed. I get it. I get it all very much. But if we don't keep fighting, if we don't hold the line, if we don't make them pay for every inch of ground they try and take from us, we're only going to see more and more erosion of our freedom. And so to see groups like us, like ILFA, mobilize so many gun owners, to see Trump get, was it 45% of the vote, the highest percent in 36 years, and to see Pritzker's offensive attacks fail all across the state, that's a testimony to you and to other organized gun owners across the state who are not willing to concede Illinois to J.B. Pritzker and the radical left. So again, there's some races still being decided right now. We're going to have our final caucus numbers in the near future, but it doesn't matter. The Democrats will have a supermajority in both chambers, and there's going to be a big fight coming next session. In fact, big fight coming very, very soon, even before session begins. And so next session, we're looking at two main fights. Number one is going to be attempts to register ammo sales here in Illinois. This has been a big issue. It's currently under litigation in both New York and California. It seems like Pritzker, all he knows how to do is like Google, New York gun control and then Google California gun control and tries to follow their agenda items. Both California and New York are in court over this issue right now. The bill was filed last session here in Illinois. It did not move very far in the process. We're being told that's going to be agenda item number one next session from Pritzker, is to make it a crime for you and I to possess unregistered ammunition. So if you sell a box of 22 shells to a buddy and don't go through a background check or have a FOID card present, criminal offense. I mean, total madness. That's number one. And number two remains the biggest one of them all, mental health exams for gun owners. Again, this is also on the move right now in other blue states. In Pritzker, we are being told wants this very badly here in Illinois. So there's big fights coming. That's not going to change. There's also big fights coming in federal court. No time for this right now, but about an hour ago, we got a decision back from Judge McGlynn in East St. Louis. He struck down the Pritzker assault weapons ban from 2 years ago. The problem is, this is expected. It was expected. As he struck it down, he put a stay on his own order, which means that the current law remains in effect here in Illinois, pending the appeal to the Seventh Circuit in Chicago. Odds are we're going to lose in that circuit. But guys, take heart, because this is the first time we've had a merits-based opinion from the district court. And from here, we can go and appeal this case to the United States Supreme Court. Previously, the arguments were largely wrapped around preliminary injunction requests. Now we're discussing the merits. Now's our chance to finally get this case appealed to the United States Supreme Court. Bottom line, it's really simple. We're fighting. We're fighting. It's in Springfield. It's in the courts, at the ballot box. The Illinois Firearms Association will not surrender our state to these commie bastards. We're going to fight every chance we have, every way we can. And I just want to thank you guys for all of your support of this organization over the last year. We've made a huge mark in a very short amount of time here in Illinois. Next year is going to be a real battle. You're going to hear much more about this in the coming days and weeks. But for tonight, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for helping us fight to defend freedom here in Illinois, and we'll keep you informed. Stay safe and stay free.